prayer was so early in this revelation that, as you know, Ali ibn Abi Talib, how did he accept Islam? He was a young child, 7 years old, living with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he comes back in and he sees he sees the Prophet ﷺ, his cousin, and he sees Khadija, his cousin-in-law, and they are praying. And he wonders, what is this? And when he finds out, he then accepts Islam. The very first week of revelation, Allah told our Prophet ﷺ to pray. And what is amazing here, the prayer was not legislated for the rest of the Muslims for another 10 years. But for our Prophet ﷺ, immediately. And even the prayer that was legislated for the Muslims, when was it legislated? It was legislated before any other commandment. There was no zakah, there was no siyam, there was no hajj, there was nothing except in Medina. The one commandment that came down in the Meccan phase, the one obligation of our Sharia that came down in the Meccan phase was the obligation to pray. And even in this obligation and how it was given, we are shown how important the salah is. Notice, our scholars mention that every single commandment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was revealed via Jibreel down to this earth. The commandment to fast in Ramadan, it came down as a verse of the Quran. The commandment to give zakah, the commandment to go for hajj, the commandment for this, the commandment for that, all the prohibitions, all the laws, all the shara'i', it is all coming down to this earth via Jibreel. There is only one exception to this rule. There is only one exception. When the command was so great, that no messenger was sent down to this earth. No verse was revealed. No angel had to fly down and flutter down to tell our Prophet something. No. The message was so great that the messenger was called to the presence of the divine to be handed the message directly without any intermediary. There was but one commandment that was so noble and it was so important that the intermediary was cut off. And the messenger was granted his only audience with the divine immediately in his presence. فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى فَأَوْحَى إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى مَا كَذَبَ الْفُؤَادُ مَا رَأَى. The one time that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was granted that exclusive audience with Allah Azza wa Jal directly, without any intermediary. What was the command given to him? Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that Allah commanded me to pray 50 times a day. That was why he was called up to the heavens. That was why he was given this direct audience with Allah to show us how important the salah is. And you all know the story that our Prophet ﷺ, being the obedient servant that he is, took this commandment and came down and he met the Prophet Musa alayhi salam. And the Prophet Musa said, "What did your Lord command you?" He said, "My Lord commanded me 50 salawat." Musa says, "O Muhammad ﷺ, I am more experienced than you in the ways of men. I have more experience with the children of Israel. You are still a new prophet. O Muhammad, let me tell you, your ummah can never afford to do 50 salawat a day. They don't have the patience. They don't have the power to pray 50 times a day." Imagine 50 times a day works out to once every 20 minutes or so. Imagine every 20 minutes you have to stand and pray. And so, the Prophet Musa convinced our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to go back up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask him to make a concession. And from 50 it went down to 45. Once again Musa says the same thing, 40, 35, 30, working his way down until finally, after going up and down and up and down and up and down, finally it has been decreed 5. Musa says, "O Muhammad, your ummah still cannot do 5. Go back up." And our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, "I am now too ashamed and embarrassed. I have gone too many times. I can't do it again." And as soon as he says that, they both hear the divine voice. Because both Musa and our Prophet ﷺ are Kareemullah. Both of them have heard Allah speak directly. So they both hear the divine voice that it had been decreed that it would be 5. Meaning even if you had come back up, it wouldn't have been gone down. It had been decreed that it will be 5. But for these 5, I shall give you the reward of 1 times 10 for every, so you shall get the reward of 50.